Greetings, 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 family, friends, and the world. This is Lkhyym, Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How is everyone doing on this beautiful night? Greetings, my brother G1. Glad to see you here tonight. Greetings, family, friends, and the world. This is Lkyym's Knowledge of Truth. This is night after Monday. This is right after 9 p.m. night after Monday, and the date was December 29th, 2025. December 29th, 2025. And this is Lkyym's Knowledge of Truth. Last night, we're going to have a recap, not a recap, but we're going to add on. We're going to pick up from last night. Last night was Fight Fire with Truth. Excuse me. Last night was Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation. We didn't have open conversation because we actually went into the seed, the spiritual seed of Abraham. The spiritual seed of Abraham, part 1 and 2. Tonight, we'll be picking up from there and going into part 3 and 4. We're not part, but just 3 and 4. 3 and 4, which is we're in part 3 right now, which is in part 1 of Lkyym's Knowledge of Truth. So right now, I'm going to start off with a prayer. Good to see G1 back. He was here last night. Good to see him being back, and everybody else in Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and G1 is on Zoom. Good to see you here. Start off with a prayer. Then we're going to get into, instead of the spiritual seed of Abraham, we just going to call it tonight, spiritual seed of Abraham. All right? Blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Excuse me. Excuse me. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father of 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help lead and guide others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We ask you to keep your arm protection around us. Let us retain your knowledge, your word, and your ruach, and your way, that we may know and do your will and follow you and your will and your way. We ask you to help us in every way, and we ask you to forgive us, our ancestors, and our forefathers that have gone away from your knowledge, your word, and your wisdom. We ask you to forgive us and them, Father, and retain us, and let us retain your knowledge, your word, and your way. Forgive our trespasses against you, because we know for those that us and we that have trespassed against you, you have trespassed against us. We ask you to forgive us of these trespasses and help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise you, Almighty. Thank you, Father. All right. Now, as I was saying, tonight is spiritual seed of Abraham, right? And the spiritual seed of Abraham, which are not just the name of his sons, but the spiritual points of his sons. And the reason why I say spiritual is because we have to look at the spiritual aspects of the things that are happening and that's going on today. Whether it's spiritual according to evil or spiritual according to knowledge and the wisdom of his word and his law. Mainly his word. Everything that the Creator speaks is going to happen, whether you accept it or not. Whether it's good for good or for evil, good or bad, however you want to say it, righteousness or evil. The whole thing is, if the Creator said it, he meant it. This is what people fail to realize. This is the reason why the world is the way it is today, because the Creator's word. The Creator said what was going to happen, what was going to end up happening, and what was going to be the benefit or what's going to be the situation because of either doing one or two things, either doing his will or not doing his will. That's what the Creator has given. That's what the Creator has said, but people choose to do what they want to do. So you have free will to make your own choice to do what it is you want to do. The Creator has stated in his laws and in everything that he has said what he wants to be done. And he gave us a blueprint or a map, which is the Bible, and many other situations, but mainly the Bible is what he gave and put the history of Israel in there, so it'll come back to our remembrance once we awaken in this day and time. So it's up to us to seek the knowledge and the information that the Creator has laid out for us if we're willing to do it. And no matter who has put it out, this is the problem that people have. People are too busy looking all over the world for something that's given to them right there, right dead center in front of their face. The Father has given the Bible, I don't care if the white man gave it, red man, Caucasian, alien, whoever. The words are still right there that he placed in order for us to know, do, and build on. But the people choose to pick and cherry pick what they want to believe according to what they want or what they've been taught. But the spirit of the word is right here in the Bible. And a lot of people talk about, well, this been taken out, that's been taken out. What you need is right there in the book. And this is what people fail to realize. I'd like to say thank you for those who are coming in on YouTube Live. Thank you for coming through. And those who are coming in on Instagram. But yet still, what I'm trying to get everybody to understand, the word of the Creator is righteous in all that it is, whether it's for the good or for the evil, for the good or for the bad. It's all righteous in the eyes of the Creator because the Creator said it. He gave you an ultimatum. So where people get this unconditional love from, that's man-made. Because you have condition with the Creator. Either you're going to do his law and perish, or you're going to do his law and be saved. That's the bottom line. Well, a lot of people have their own choice of believing what they want to believe. We've been brought in this world to believe because we've been taught something. But once we get of a certain age, when we get around the age of our teens, we start researching, searching, and start really searching for the Creator. Because something we're missing, and we know it within our being. Y'all know it, I know it, and we all have been on the research, or shall I say, we've been on the look to research to try to find the Creator in whatever it is that we've come to know. So whatever it is that we've come to know the Creator at or in, it's our job to do the research, find out, and number one, ask the Creator to lead and guide us so we can know what it is that he will have us to do. The information is right here in prophecy, and this is what I share, prophecy. See, when you understand prophecy, you can see clearly what's going on. No matter what people try to do or try to make seem, they can't surpass the Creator when it comes to prophecy. So it's things that's still coming about in this day and time that is going to have to happen because it's said in the book. It's said that these certain things are going to happen. Certain things has already happened, have came to pass, but it's certain things that haven't even happened yet that's still right here in the book. So these are things things that's happening right now. So I'm picking up from where I left off yesterday, but what I will do is give you a recap. This is the reason why I say this is why I'm calling this the spiritual seed of Abraham. Tonight is just going to be spiritual seed of Abraham. I had to take the because I didn't have enough to put into the caption for YouTube. So spiritual seed of Abraham tonight. Tonight is Mikhail's knowledge of truth. Last night was fight fire with truth, which was open conversation. So right now we're starting tonight. So the recap is this, and I'm just going to give it to you verbatim. Let me break it down like this. If you go to Genesis chapter 15, verse 1 through 6, the Creator made a promise to Abram. His name wasn't Abraham at the time. I'm going to give you just a caption. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to give you captions so we can go ahead and get finished with the end of Esau and the beginning of Jacob, according to where we are today. So now, the key is Genesis 15 for Abram, which was changed to Abraham. Let me do this real quick. So we'll start off with the understanding, and we're not going to go through the whole thing. Just going to give you a little bit for a recap. Right here at Genesis 15 and 1, it says the Creator. It says Yah's promise to Abram. Right? Yah's promise to Abram. It says, after these things, the word of Yah came to Abram, and it says right here, in verse 1 it says, I am thy shield and thy exceedingly great reward. The Creator spoke to Abram right then. And he told Abram, he said, Abram asked what he gonna give to him, and he said, behold, Abram said he didn't have a seed. And he said, behold, the word of Lord came unto him, saying, this is verse 4. This shall not be thy heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said to him, so shall thy seed be. And he believed on the Creator, and, and the Creator counted to him for righteousness that he believed on him. So that was 1 through Genesis 15, 1 through 6. Then we didn't even get to 15 yet because that's coming. I mean the rest of 15 yet because that's coming. But after that, this is where we went into chapter 16 about Hagar. Now this is where Abram, when Sarai gave Hagar to Sarah, Sarai gave Hagar to Abraham to have a child. Now she did that because she couldn't have her; she was barren. So Hagar had a child. Well, actually, she was pregnant. She got despised. She was despised of Sarah. She was despised of Sarah. She left, and then the angel told her to go back and be with and put herself under Sarai's at the time, Sarai's hand, because she belonged to Sarai, or she was her handmaid, right? So verse 10 in chapter 16, it says, the angel said, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. So the seed that it was speaking of was Ishmael at this time. Still the seed of what? Abram. Man. Still the seed of Abram before he became Abraham. But if you notice, the angel was talking to Hagar, and just the same as it says in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, when the Creator is talking to the serpent, and he said, I will multiply thy seed and her, well, not multiply, I will put enmity between thy seed and her seed. As you can see in Genesis 16 and 10, it says, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly. It's not talking about the seed of the woman, it's talking about the seed of the child that's with the woman. And if you notice today, most of the children are with the women and not with the men, which is prophecy. So by the children being with the woman and not with the men is prophesied, talking about the seed of Satan, which is I would say the feminine seed, and the seed of the system that's over the women, compared to the women that's with their husband or with their man and is obedient to their man and that's with their men. Those are the two different. The feminine compared to the feminine. The women who are feminine compared to the feminine. The ones who are out there. I'm just going to put it like that. All right? So many other words, but I can't think of them right now. So, but the point is, it says, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, talking about the seed of Ishmael, right? And it shall not be numbered for multitude. And also, it talks about what type of man that Ishmael is going to be in verse 12. It says, first it says in verse 11, it says that his name should be called Ishmael. And then because the Father have heard thy affliction. And in verse 12 it says, and he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren, right? Okay, that's that point. Then when you go to 17 and 20, 19 and 20, that is. In 19, it says, and Yah said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will, the key is, establish my covenant with him. He establishing the covenant with Isaac. But when we get down here to 20, it talks about Ishmael. The father's going to establish his covenant with Isaac for an everlasting covenant and with his seed after him. But with Ishmael, verse 20, and as for Ishmael, the father have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him. The father blessed Ishmael, which is a seed of Abram, right? Abram, who changed to Abraham. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. This is talking about Ishmael. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. A great nation. So Ishmael is a great nation of Abram. Name was changed to Abraham, right? Okay, that's Ishmael. But the key is verse 21. But my covenant will I establish again. Verse 21. 19, 20, and 21. 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. The next following year, Sarah's to have a baby, and they're going to call his name Isaac. This, he established his covenant with Isaac. But still, Ishmael was still to be a great exceeding nation. So, but the nation wasn't supposed to be established with Ishmael, but he is supposed to be a great nation. This is why I say spiritual. I look at the Muslim or the Islamic way of life being Ishmael, spiritually, right? Now, I don't know how much of on the law they keep or how much from the law they add to or what have you. I can't say that. All I know is that they are a nation that's supposed to really love the Creator, as far as we know. As far as we know. And really, I look at that really being a nation that love Prophet Muhammad. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's still a great nation, but they worship under Muhammad. You don't hear them talk about law. When they talk about law, they say Allah, all law. Excuse me. All law or Allah. So Allah is their, as far as I'm concerned, their person who they actually worship is the person, Prophet Muhammad. I heard I heard a Muslim speaking, if they talk against Prophet Muhammad, this and that, they're going to kill him and all this and that. The Father never established anything with any man except his promise. His promise is his law and his spirituality. But people are worshiping the man. And this is the problem we have today. We're not supposed to worship Israel. We're supposed to worship the Creator and Creator only. Israel is just a vessel that brings the law. If Muhammad brought the law, why are they calling on Muhammad instead of calling on the Creator? Whether they say Allah, I can't. That's their language. Whatever they did, that's on them. But my point is, they say Allah, but their mindset is on their Prophet Muhammad. That's the problem I have. And to me, that's the problem according to his word. The Creator the first commandment is thou shalt have no other gods before me, or mainly, period. So any other deity or anything is another God. And that's your Prophet Muhammad. And that's what the Muslim world is doing. That's the reason why it's going to be established with Israel and the seed after them. But before we get to Israel, we had to get through the curse. So the establishment was through Isaac, which had two sons. Those two sons was Esau and Jacob, which is Jacob. Esau and Jacob. Esau is the world we're in today. And I shared that yesterday. And if y'all get time, y'all can go through part 1 and part 2. This is part 3. Part 1 of 3. Part 1 of part 3. This is 3 where we at right now. So I'm just giving you a recap of everything now. That was Ishmael, Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, where the promise was established. And when it was established through the birth of Esau and Jacob in 25, right here in 25. It was established here. I'm only going to give y'all a recap to get an understanding of where we're going to. Right here, when in Genesis 25, verse 21 through 28, it talks about the birth of Esau and Jacob. But your key, I'm giving you the key because I went through all this yesterday. You can go back and check the rest of it out. Your key is right here in 23, 24, and 25, right? And 26, 23 through 26. I'm just going to read that real quick. 23. And Yah said unto her, which is Rebekah, after she inquired why the children was struggling inside of her. And Yah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. This is 2 keys right here. And one shall be stronger than the other people. One people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. You got 2 points right here in Genesis 27 and 40. It's going to give you both points, to give you both understanding. One being stronger, which I say is Esau, and they shall serve the other, which is we're going to be served. They're going to serve us, which is Israel. But let's keep it moving. One shall be stronger than the other. One people shall be stronger than the other people. If you notice, it said people. You see that? It said people. And the elder shall serve the younger. The elder going to serve the younger. And when her days were to be delivered was fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, 25 and 26. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Yaakov, which is Jacob. All right. So that's the understanding of the 2 children that was born. But this was the establishment through Isaac. That means it was established of both those children, between those 2 children through Isaac. All right. So they was born at this time. Now the blessing was the key, which is in 27. 27, verse 28 and 29. But we'll start at 27. I'm gonna give you the blessings real quick to have an understanding. And like I said, we always hear the first should be the last and last should be first. Now the first one got their blessing is going to be last to be in charge. The last one that got their blessing, I don't like saying be less, blessing, they were the first to be in charge of the dominion of the earth, is what I'm saying, of the dominion of the earth. Now, how this happened? I'm gonna give you that in a few moments. But the key is the first blessing is when the elder going to serve the younger, which is this is the blessing of Yaakov, which they call Jacob, right here, verse 27, 28, and 29. And it states, Genesis 27, verse 27. And he came near and kissed him, which is Jacob came near to Isaac, and he kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yah has blessed. And that's our blessing, the earth, land, air, and water. Our blessing. Not talking about the system where we have today, where all this money, fiat, and everything else, where this is all going to. This is the separation as well. Actually, the separation of heaven and hell. Heaven is the earth and the substance of the earth. Hell is what everybody's going to when it comes to this fiat, this digital money that's coming, and also the mark or the things that's happening in the earth today that the way this earth is going into. People can't see. But here we go. Verse 28. The smell of the field which Yah has blessed. 28. Therefore Yah give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine, which is from the earth. 29. This is for the remnant. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. Spiritually, if you're keeping the law and you're doing good under the law, under the Creator's will, this will be for you. Individually and as a whole when you come together. But this isn't for all Israel, because all Israel is not going to turn to do the Creator's will. So the all Israel, or shall I say the rest, is going to be as the heathen. That's why I say this is spiritual. Now, that's Yaakov, which is going to come. Even though this happened to some of us in this day and time, because we have been blessed to be anointed, we have been blessed to keep the Creator's word and to be in favor of the Creator. We have been blessed on this point in this day and time as well. Why? Because we're keeping the Creator's word. And we're studying his word to know his word. But for those who are outside of his word, it's the curses and all other things going to happen to them. At least until they turn or until they perish. It's up to them. But now, let's go into 39 and 40 of Genesis 27. And it states, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Isaac said this to Esau. Thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven. That means he's going to get the fatness of the earth first, which he did. The fatness of the earth is the dominion. Excuse me. The dominion of the earth. Far and wide. And of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40 is your key to the stronger and who to serve. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. This is how he's taken over the earth. This is how Esau has become in charge and has taken over everywhere he go. Esau. He's taking over everywhere he go. He's taking either by force, by the law that he puts up and put together, but this was his time until he's taken over. Now, he will stay in charge until you come out from amongst them. The only way to come out, the only way that I know, besides death, to come out in this day and time is to get off from under the Roman rule, which is what we're going to go through soon. When I'm going to show, yesterday I went over Revelation 13 to show you where the Roman rule is up to date. I'm not going to go through that tonight. I went through that yesterday in part 2. But tonight I'm just showing you a recap and giving you an understanding of everything and how we got to where we are today. So, but the key to 40 is this. By thy sword shalt thou live. By war shalt thou live. He lives by war. And you know that this earth is under, when it comes to Esau, or when it comes to that spiritual point, in Revelation chapter 6, verse 7 and 8, the pale horse. He's the pale horse. And I don't mean just an individual skin color. I'm talking about the spirit of everything in the earth. The spiritual aspect is what I'm talking about. Esau is the spiritual aspect of the pale horse. That's mainly it. Everywhere he go is death, and hell follow him, hunger and everything else. It's all about death and destruction with Esau. The spirit of Esau. We're not looking at just the man itself, but the spirit within that man. That's what people got to look at. People so physical today, they can't understand the spiritual aspect of the situation that's happening. So, again, and by thy sword, which is by war, shall thou live, and right here, that was being stronger, and shall serve thy brother. That is what's spoken of in Genesis chapter 25, verse 23, I believe it is. 25, verse 23. Yep. The elders and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elders shall serve the younger. You see that? That's what's stating that first. By thy sword shall thou live, makes them stronger. Makes them stronger. And it makes them stronger, and shall serve thy brother. He's going to serve us in due time. But then it says, and it shall come to pass now, and it shall come to pass when thou have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. He has the dominion. He was under us at one time when Solomon was in charge. When Saul had Doeg kill all the priests of the Creator. He was an Edomite. And then Saul, David, Solomon, and all the kings was in charge until Jeremiah 25, verse 15 through 38. The sword is the Greek and the Roman Empire. That's the sword. So the sword is Esau, which is the Greek and the Roman Empire. Then from there, I took you to Jeremiah chapter 15, Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 15 through 38, to give you an understanding of the situation at hand and how things was going to happen through time from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Then I took you to Revelations chapter 6, verse 7 and 8, showing you spiritually who the pale horse was, which is Esau. The spirit of Esau, that is. Because if you think about it, it's just not Esau that's going around doing stuff today. Anybody who joined themselves with the Greek and Roman army, Roman Empire, they're the ones that's a part of that situation. When you join the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, you have just joined the army of the Roman Empire, which is the latter part of Greek, which is the latter part of Esau. The first part of Esau was the Greeks. Then they relinquished their power over to Rome. I shared that in Revelation 13. So now, from there, I didn't get to Jacob yet. The point is, I'm breaking everything down from Abram, to Ishmael, to Isaac, to Isaac's two sons, who I just shared with you, Jacob and Esau. Now, Father just gave me turn right to it. But I'm gonna hold on to this real quick. The spiritual aspect, right? So now we went from there. Let me hold this. Definitely hold this. So if I'll be putting stuff right in my face just so I can share, because it's needed to be said as well to show you the process, right? So from there, I took you to Revelations chapter 6, verse 7 to 8. Then we went to Revelations 12, verse 3 and 4. And then, which is the Greeks, the red dragon with the 7 heads is the 7 continents. The 7 continents is when the red dragon, which is Esau, which is the red and hairy man, has grown into a great nation and have had the dominion. And it doesn't mean just he had the dominion all by himself. When everybody joined themselves to him, like when you see 300, all these different nations with Xerxes, right? Well, I think his name was Xerxes, and Leonidas, that's what was his name, of the Spartans, 300 of them, they fought all those different nations. All those different nations was of the Medes and the Persians. Leonidas and them of the Spartans was the beginning of the Greeks. Then the Greeks came through, they end up taking over with Alexander the Great, or Alexander the Greek. Went around, they conquered. After Alexander the Greek and the Greeks took over, they relinquished their power over to Rome, the Roman Empire. Then you had Old Rome, which was of Caesar, gladiators, and everything of Old Rome. And in Old Rome is where Christianity came about. Christianity was born on the scale that it is today. Not saying it wasn't a Christianity before then. We're going on what we know on how it came to be in this day and time. Now, things may come, they may evolve, because we know people pick up one thing, but we talk about in the expansion of what it is. That's what I'm talking about. All right? So Christianity came the way it came to be through the Roman Empire, the way it is today. Through through the Council of Nicaea, which had, when I was studying, it was 400 bishops, right? Now then it went down to 3 to 2 and so many, but when I was studying back years from then, it was 400 bishops, and it was another sect called the Arians. Both of them was fighting, and they was trying to, they was doing that concept upon the prophet that's supposed to came named Jesus, or that what name, his name was Yeshua, but they changed his name to, they put the name Zeus, the Babylonian god, and the Greek god, which is Ea and Zeus, combined those names, and then later on, which is in the second point of the Roman Empire, part 2 of the Roman Empire, that's where Jesus came about. But before then, it was just Christianity, and for 56 years they was fighting, the Arians and the bishops was fighting to try to, and this is where the deadly wound was healed after 56 years. They eased the Arians out, and this is where Christianity came to be the main source for the Roman Empire, for Catholicism, the Catholic Church, the Roman Empire. Now, the church was of the Roman Empire, but the Roman Empire was to break off, and we're going to go into that. We didn't go into that yesterday. But we're going to go into that tonight. We're going to go into that in Daniel, talking about the prophecy of Revelation 13. I went into Revelation 13 to break down and share with you who Esau is spiritually and dominantly, because they have taken over, and it's all in the word of Yah. From Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 15 to 38, and then Revelations, which I call the revealing, Revelation 6, verse 7 to 8. And then you got Revelations 12, 3 and 4, which is the Greeks. And then you got the Romans, which is the beast, in the full book of 13. Full book of chapter 13. So, still getting a better understanding as we go. So now, we're there. So after that, I end up taking it from there, from 13, and the Rome was, like I said, it was 2 parts. It was 2 parts of Rome, right? The 2 parts of Rome was Old Rome and New Rome. You got 2 legs, 2 iron legs, right? The iron. You got Old Rome and New Rome. Old Rome was of Caesar. New Rome was of Pope. Old Rome was when the Crusaders and everybody went around the earth making people accept Christianity. And that's when they was establishing the Roman Empire and establishing the Christianity, or let me just say, establishing the church. All right? The church, and then afterwards came church and state, which is what the world is under now. So, the church. Oh boy, this is really tearing up my... The church, which is the Roman Empire. Excuse me. I ate earlier. I laid down, but I guess my food is still digesting. So I ate a couple of hours ago, laid down, so food is still digesting, so forgive me, y'all. But the point I'm getting at is that now we're at Revelations chapter 13, 1 through 10 is Old Rome. When it talks about the deadly wound was healed, that's Christianity. That's when they was coming together, putting everything together. Then when it was healed, that's when they got rid of the Arians, and this when Christianity came about to be the way it is. And also in Old Rome, they had the games. Just to let you understand, they had the games. They had the gladiators. We have the gladiators today. They're just not killing and murdering or doing what they're doing for sport. They're not killing for sport today. In New Rome, Old Rome, they had gladiators. They had gladiators out there fighting peasants or just fighting other people, prisoners, and also they had the people like gladiators out there fighting animals and things like that, tigers, bears, lions, and things like that, right? So now those were the games at that time. Now in New Rome, which come to be starting in verse 11 through 18, this is New Rome with the 2 horns, like a young lamb, which is the United States. The 2 horns is the Democrat and a Republican, but spake as a lion or dragon. That means spoke with power. And then after that, it carried the same concept as old Rome, the first beast. Old Rome was the first beast. This new Rome now, the same concept, which is Christianity. Same thing, same concept. But now the difference is when it comes to the games, instead of out there fighting lions, tigers, bears, and prisoners, now they got teams against teams with their helmets. You got the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Detroit Tigers, what other kind? You know, the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, all these different what they call them mascots. Same thing, but the people can't see because their mind don't go back to understand and study what's going on. So this is New Rome, same concept, different way of doing things, right? But now they have church and state. And then what does it tell you in 14 and 15? They made an image. Now they made an image to the beast. They made an image to Rome. This is your Jesus. And now the people have changed Jesus. They went from Isus, which you couldn't have a idol in the 1611 Bible. You don't have a physical image to Isus. But then Jesus, you have a physical, you have an image to it. Let me just say, you have an image to Jesus. Then they both made him speak. How they make him speak? The red words in the New Testament. That's how they made him speak. That's your Christianity. That's your gospel. I'm giving you understanding so you can have a better understanding of what the world has been deceived by. All right? So, you got aspects of that. Your deadly wound that was healed is Christianity itself. Your image is Jesus. Jesus is your image. Your symbol is the cross. Your symbol of Christianity is the cross. And that's your world religion itself, which is Christianity itself, the Roman Empire. All this is concept of the beast worldwide. For those who have accepted that, or for those who have accepted and then have come out of it mentally. And when you come out of it mentally and start keeping the law, now you're becoming spiritual Israel once you start to keep the law. So this is just giving you understanding on that. Man, I sure hate that this right here. I got to put some tape on there. I keep saying it, but I got to do it. Let me put this down like this. Excuse me, y'all. One of my pages has really got a little bit tore in it. I'm taking time with it. All right. So, now, all this is Esau that I'm sharing with you. Now we're getting ready to move into Yaakov. Yaakov, which is Jacob. We're going to move into Jacob to have an understanding of the last dominion that's going to be given unto him. So before we get all the way into Yaakov, let's end up, left from Deuteronomy, I'm sorry, Revelation 13. Revelation 13. I went to Obadiah yesterday. Obadiah, and I shared. Now let me go ahead and pick up right there from where I left off in Obadiah. In Obadiah. Let's get over here real quick. Let's start up from there. We're going to go into Obadiah to talk about the ending of Esau. Hold on one moment, everyone. I did give y'all a little bit of Obadiah yesterday. Hold on. I'm back. One moment. Here we go, right here. Obadiah. Now, Edom's fate. What we're going to do is, since it's only there's 21 verses. Let me go on through Obadiah to get some understanding here real quick. We're going to go to Obadiah, and then we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 14 to give you the understanding of Esau and his purpose and what he did and what his thoughts was before we go into Jacob, Yaakov. But we'll go from here first. Before there, I'm going to go what's needed. Daniel chapter 2 first. Then we'll go there. We hit that late. We hit that last. Daniel chapter 2. This was the beginning and the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had according to the Greek and Roman Empire, but the dream from him being the head of gold all the way down to the feet of iron and clay. All right. But we'll just start over here at 32. It says, this image's head was of fine gold. This is Daniel chapter 2 and 31. We'll start at 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and say his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image from image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces. That's everything in a nutshell. That's everything in a nutshell. 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken in pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain. The stone was the law. The stone not was, but is the law. The stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. The stone is the law. Where that law come from? Moses, that came down from the mountain with the finger written of Yah, the creator, and Moses brought it to the people of Israel. That's going to carry that law throughout the earth, right? And that's everything in a nutshell. I could just go ahead and read everything on down, but that's mainly everything in a nutshell, just to save time. But as we can see, you can read verse 36 on through, but verse 31 through 35 is your key. 31 through 35 is your key. Might as well just, okay, 31 through 35 is your key. All right. Let me see. I can hold that. I'll come back to that. But 31 through 35 is your key for the whole situation. But now we'll go back to Obadiah real quick, because we're going with the end of Esau. Then we're going to pick up with Yaakov and where he's at. But I just gave you everything in a nutshell. Verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus said Yah, concerning Edom, which is Esau. I like to say the spirit of Esau, but this is a vision still. We have heard a rumor from Yah, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, talking about us. Thou art greatly despised. That's talking about Israel. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high. Now this is them, Esau. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, the Creator's talking about them, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yah. See that? The Creator speaking. This is the Creator speaking. Verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they have had enough? If the grapes gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some grapes? 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the stuff that he do, they're searched out and they're sought out. That means that we find out all the stuff they're doing. This 3-eye atlas or 3-eye atlas, y'all don't know if that's real or not. Y'all don't know if it's propaganda or not. Everybody's taking it, sucking it up just like the World Trade Centers. If y'all still think that anybody outside this country did it, y'all crazy. Because that was done by this country. That was done by the president and those people in hand to go ahead and do what they decided to do. But they make it look like somebody else did. And if y'all don't know, if y'all haven't looked up loose change or zeitgeist and checked out the information, something is wrong with you. But let's keep it moving. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You see that? There ain't no understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith Yah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? And that happens all the time. The ones who think they're wise. Hold on. I said not that day. It's verse 8. Shall I in that day, saith Yah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, which has no understanding in them? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. By the mount of Esau, mount by his kingdom. That means all that is a part of his kingdom. This is what I mean by spiritual, y'all. A lot of people looking at, oh, okay, I have to step on that. No, you right there with them. You ain't getting nowhere. All the stuff you done did, you right there with them. Judah's misfortune. This is our misfortune. Verse 10. What for them may cut off by the slaughter. Judah's misfortune, verse 10. Obadiah 10. Verse 10 that is. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates. You see that, into our gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Remember this right here? Joel chapter 3, verse 3, 5, and 6, I believe. 3, 5, 6, and 7. And foreigners enter into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Even thou was as one of them. You see that? They saying those people that did that to us, you're just like they was, because of the things you did. Verse 12. But thou should have not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day of that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. You see that? Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. See that? See how many people do? 13. Thou shouldst not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. 14. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. So you shouldn't have messed with them. Shouldn't have allowed them to do and leave or do whatever they had to do. But you cut them off. You sold them to the enemies. Excuse me. Verse 15, Edom's fate. For the day of Yah is near upon all the heathen. You see that? This is not talking about one particular person. This is talking about anybody that's a heathen. You are of Esau if you're a heathen. For the day of Yah is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. What that Revelation chapter 9 and 10 states. All the stuff that y'all done is going to be turned back on you. Those killed with the sword, you're going to be killed with the sword. Excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. This shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Verse 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. You see that? That time coming. That time is coming. Israel's ultimate triumph. Here we go. Verse 17. Our ultimate triumph. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. You see that? The house of Jacob, which is Israel. We're going to possess. That's why I say the wealthy of the wicked is going to lay it up for the righteous. 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Jacob of Joseph a flame. 18 again. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yah has spoken it. Now, the house of Esau is heathens. I'm not speaking for or against anything. I'm speaking according to what I'm seeing spiritually. A lot of people don't understand spiritual matters. But spiritually, this is where I'm coming from, according to the word. 19. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plains of the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. 20. And the captivity of his host, of this host of the children of Israel, shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yah's. That's the key. We just got to read that in Daniel chapter 2, right? Right here in Daniel chapter 2 again. It says in verse 31 through 35 again. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces. It started at the bottom. Why it started at the bottom? Because this is where we're at. It started at the feet. We are the clay, the system is the iron. And no, we are the stone. Let me put it like that. Those who are spiritual are the stone. Now the clay is more like the Moors, the ones who are just all about law, and they're not spiritually in tune. Let me put it like that. The ones who are spiritually in tune, they are the rock, breaking everything down according to the law, the real law, not legalese, but the law. Upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. 35. Then was the iron and clay and the brass, the silver, and the gold broken in pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain. That's Israel, because we are the stone. We are the ones who carry the law. We are the stone. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. That show Exodus chapter 19, verse 5 and 6. That's us right there. And everyone, I don't care what nation, nationality, tongue, or people you are, once you start keeping the law, you become Israel. You're not Esau anymore. See, right now it's only one or two things. You got good and bad. You got Esau. You got Jacob and Esau, or Israel and Esau. You got either one of the two. And Jacob is the one that's titter-tarring in between. They don't know. They still waking up. They're either gonna wake up and stay on the bad side, evil side, or they're gonna wake up and become spiritual and keep the law. Excuse me. So now let's get to one more thing I wanted to share with Isaiah. I think I shared it last night, but I'll go over it again. Isaiah 14. The ending and the situation. I just shared Obadiah. I'm going to hear it one more time. 14 of Isaiah. 12 through 20. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, still Esau, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Esau. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. This is the spirit through those people. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yah. I will set also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I still say North Country, North America, where everything is. This is where the second Roman Empire started at. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. You see that? 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, which is the earth, which is hell, which is Sheol, the grave. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that had a spirit in him? Is this the man Esau, that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners, of his prisoners? 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those. That remind me of Revelation, when it talks about the coming out the bottomless pit, the beast coming out of the bottomless pit, I believe it is. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, and go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. All right. So we're going to leave it right there for that. That's the end of Esau. Now we got to start understanding where Jacob's point is at. And where Jacob spiritually is, we're going to go to Hosea. We're going to Hosea first to get an understanding. Something that was spoken of in the New Testament, but was spoken of here first. Hosea 6. Hosea chapter 6. Now this is Israel. Now we're going to get on to Israel, where we are coming into. This is the seed. This is the seeds, the spiritual seeds of Abraham. And this right here, showing where Esau just had the dominion. Esau is falling out of power. Now, this is where Israel, in the time of all the time everything was going on, that it was to be raised, right? Israel was to be raised. But first, let's get a prophecy before we go there to show the understanding to that. Now we're going to get a prophecy to Israel. I still didn't go into Daniel 6 and 7 for the ending of Esau, or the prophecy 7 and 8 of what they did in their time. Let me go ahead and break this down while I can at this point. So I wanted that to be a part of it so people could see and understand when the time comes. Still part of Esau before we go into Jacob, Yaakov. All right. We're going to go to Daniel chapter 7 verse, I like to say, we'll start at 21 down to 27. Here we go. Now 21. I beheld, and the same horn power made war with the saints and prevailed against them. The same horn, which is Esau, the power, made war against the saints, which is Israel, and prevailed against them. 22. Until the Ancient of Days came. That's the Spirit. The Spirit of Yah is the Ancient of Days. That's the Spirit of Yah, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. The Ancient of Days. We are in that time now. This is what I'm going to start bringing. This is what I'm going to bring out in Hosea in a few minutes, chapter 6. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. You see that? That's the Ancient of Days. This is where we are now. This at this point. But now we're going to get back. See, that was just a snippet of a small snippet of, and I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. That's one. And this is two, until the Ancient of Days came. That's until the Spirit of the Creator came unto us. And judgment was given to the saints. And that's Israel of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. That's a snippet. Quick, fast, and hurry. Now, 23. Let's jump back to the beast now. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom, which is Esau's kingdom, which is the Roman Empire, upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth again, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces, as I always share. The continents, the seven heads of the seven continents, and in the continents you have countries. In the country you have city and states, and in those city and states you have rural areas, you have counties, and you have districts. Whether you have those or not, you have one or the other. And then you have neighborhoods, you have towns, neighborhoods, and then you have blocks, streets, all the way down to your home. All the way down to your home. And not only that, all the way down to your home, even when you're coming out the womb, they put a number, a name and a number on you. So that's all the way down. Tread it down and break it in pieces. Verse 24. And the reason I say that, because you can send mail anywhere across the world and it's going to make it there. The Roman Empire. 24. And say, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. And another shall, see, the 10 kings shall arise. And another shall arise after them. All right. Another, see, that's 10 kingdoms, and another kingdom shall rise after them, and that's the kingdom of today. That's the kingdom of the Pope. That's the that is the that was the 10 kings at that time. That was the rulership of the Roman Empire. Then you had Caesar. Now the other king, another shall rise after him, which is the Pope. That kingdom, still both of them the Roman Empire. And he shall be diverse, different from the first king or kingdom. This is going to be different, which is Revelation 13, 1 through 10 is the first kingdom. 11 through 18 is the second kingdom, which is the 2 legs of iron, the 2 feet of iron and clay. 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, Christianity, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, as which they did. And like it said up here, behold, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. That's where we at right here in 25. That's 21 and 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time, Greek, and times, Roman, and the dividing of time to 400 years, from my understanding. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion. Who is they? The saints are going to take away his dominion, which is the beast, to consume and to destroy it until the end. Now 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints, the Israelites, everybody who started to keep the law, unto the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. Who is him? The Creator, the Almighty, through the law. And when you get to 8, when you break down to 8 and 23, right? 23, and in the latter time, see, the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are to come to the full. This is Israel. We transgress the law. The transgressors are come to the full. A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark senses shall stand up. This is the kingdom of today that we're in. Then the dark senses is the things that we are going through the court systems. This is the kingdom that we're in now. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, because it's the power of the Creator. Excuse me, not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully. He's going to destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. That is what has happened to us as a people. That's why we don't know our land, our language, our heritage, nor our culture. But we've been made byword, proverbs, and bywords by all different people. And through his policy, through whose policy? The policy of this system, church and state. And through his policy, also he shall cause craftiness to prosper in his hand, and which is the Roman government system. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. How many times this country always talking about them? They come in peace. They come in peace. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. That's us. Once we start to come back into our way of life by keeping the law and becoming anointed, being the Lord's, the Creator's anointed, doing his word and his will. But he shall be broken without hand. The system is going to be broken. We ain't going to use this, doing what I'm doing right now. Pen and paper, and standing on the law. 26. And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. The evening and the morning is a day. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. It means it's going to be in time to come. We are in that day right now, for those who choose to be in it and a part of it. All right. Now we'll go to Hosea to understand Israel. See, all that right there was of the all part of Esau at this point. Yesterday we did Abram, to understand that all this is the blessing of still Abram. Everything is. Everything that's going on is from Abraham's seed, through Abraham's seed, which was Ishmael. Through Isaac is the two that we're talking about right now. Esau, which got his blessing last, but got the dominion first. And now we're going into Jacob, which is Jacob, who got his blessing first, but we're coming into the dominion last. So now, Hosea chapter 6, verse 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, and 3. But the key is 2. Hosea, it says, come and let us return unto Yah. Now this is us turning back. But before we go here, let's get to understanding why we're in the position we're in. Before we even get there. Get the understanding of why we're in our position. Genesis 15. Genesis 15, we start at verse 12. Hey, baby. You sleep good?
Yeah.
Thank you. My baby brought me some tea. All right. Now we're going to get to the understanding of the reason why we're going through what we're going through. All right. It's 2 points that I'm going to give you. But let me see where we at right now. We're an hour and 16 minutes in. I'm getting ready to give you understanding the reason why we're going through what we're going through at this point in time. Good and hot. Okay. Now see, first things first. We got to remember, nope, this is first. This is first because we haven't even got to Deuteronomy yet. But this right here is this is the first thing because this is what was told to Abram after he gave him the promise about the seed. So the Father, as I always share, the Father see everything. He's seen everything from the beginning to the end. He's seen everything in Genesis 1 through 5. He's seen everything. I keep sharing it with people, but some people, hey, I just share what I was going to do. It's up to y'all to hear it, accept it, or reject it. So, the prophecy of Israel's bondage. Now we're going to pick back up from Genesis 15, verse 7. And we're going to break this down right quick before we go into part 4. Now, the prophecy of Israel's bondage. And he said unto him, this is starting at verse 7. We did 6 up to 6 before, but now we're going to go, and because the Creator he held 5 and 6. We do hit 5 and 6, and we're going to go into 7. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. This is Genesis 15, verse 5, going into 6. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And he 6. And he believed in Yah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Right? He counted it to Abram for righteousness because he believed in what the Creator said. Now, the prophecy of Israel's bondage, verse 7. And he said unto him, I am Yah that brought thee out of the land of Ur, out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give thee, shall I say, this land to inherit it. That land where they were at. And he said, Yah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? How shall I know I inherit it? And he said unto him, take ye, now he's going to do a ritual to show how he's going to get it. Not how, but to let him know how he's going to have it. And he said, take unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old, a she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove and a young pigeon. Verse 10. And he took unto him all these and divided them in the midst and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. He didn't divide the birds. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. So remember that he had to do all this, cutting them up and stuff like that, draining them and cutting them up. That took a process of time. So this was in the morning. This was in the morning when he had the vision, as the sun was rising. And he saw the stars as the sun was rising. And then all this situation happened. And then the Creator was talking to him. So this is when he started to do this ritual, as in the she-goat, the lamb, and the heifer, the ram. The heifer, the she-goat, and the ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. So that took a process of time. And what it says right here, and when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abraham drove them away. Now you got to understand verse 12 is something that people don't realize. And when the sun was going down, a lot of people think this is late in the evening. No, this is the beginning of the evening, which is at 12 noon, as the sun starts to go down at this point. Now, when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And when you see that, if you go to Isaiah chapter 60, to understand where we at in this day and time. Isaiah 60, 1, 2, and 3. Actually 1 through 5. But 1, 2, and 3 is the key of where we at this point. Isaiah 60 and 1 states this. It states, the future glory of Zion. This is when it says, arise, shine. And when it says rise, shine, it's talking to rise of certain people, which was us in this day and time, which was in the 50s and 60s. 50s and 60s, or in the time of our bondage. It says, arise, shine, for thy light is come. The bondage is about 400 years, excuse me. God said, let me get some luck on you, shine. Remember, they used to call this different Bible words at the time. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yah is risen upon thee. The spirit of the Creator is risen upon us. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, which is in the dark ages, and also when everything has been changed under the Roman rule. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yah shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And then what happens? Verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. See that? So right here in Genesis 15, when it says, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. The great darkness was was upon the earth, and the horror of great darkness was upon the people. Now 13. And he said unto Abram, know for a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. This is what we've been through from 1619 to 2019. This is what we've been through. 1619 to 2019, we've been afflicted for 400 years. Then 14 says, and also that nation, what nation? The Roman Empire, which is the spiritual aspect of Esau. Esau is the ones who have been afflicting us. And also the nation whom they shall serve will I judge. The Creator judged the Roman Empire in 2020. 2020 was the judgment, and this was the coronavirus. Whether man did it or the Creator did it, it's still of the Creator. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards, see, the judgment is going on not only during the coronavirus and also with the jab. That's still, all that is judgment. For those who choose to follow the Creator and those who don't choose to follow him. Then it says, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. What's the substance? Land, water, cattle, homes, all kind of stuff besides what we think is the digital era. Gold, silver, jewels, things like that, things that are tangible with great substance. 15. and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. He's telling him right there, you should go in your fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. That's the prophecy. The last should be first, the first should be last. That's the prophecy that happened last. That happened first. That's going to happen last. That's happening now. But was the prophecy of what happened that he's telling last happened first, which is coming right here. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again. This is when they came into Egypt at that time, back at the time when Jacob, when Joseph was in Egypt and he was king, might as well say, under Pharaoh. He was the man under Pharaoh. This is part about that time right here in verse 16. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, now when the sun went down, compared was in verse 12, it said when the sun was going down. Now in all this time, and it came to pass after this time that when the sun went down and it was dark, now it's dark. You got to understand the difference. Behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between both those pieces. Now, I don't know how that happened or the way it happened, but we see that two different things happen. Two separate things. A smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. Now, the Father's covenant with Abram. This is covenant right here again. In the same day, which is covenant, which he started off with. In the same day, Yah made a covenant with Abram, saying unto thy seed, have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Now, this right here is the promise he gave him from 1 through 6. From 1 through 6 is verse 18 is speaking about. In the same day, Yah made a covenant with Abram, saying unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The Kenites and the Kenzites and the Kedmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Gerishites and the Jebusites. He gave him that land. That's the land he gave him. But that's the two prophecies for Jacob. Now, why do we go through this situation? Why do we go through this situation? It's because number one is Exodus 24. I'm going to pause this real quick. Then we're going to start off in part 4. This is the end of part 3, which is actually part 1. And this is the spiritual seed of Abraham. Let me rephrase that. The spiritual seeds of Abraham. We went through the information about Abraham through Ishmael, through Isaac, through Esau. Now we're at Jacob. All right. So this is the spiritual seeds of Abraham. And just to let you know, to share with you that I am that Lkhyym in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Lkhyym in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Lkhyym is really me. Other than that, I thank y'all for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. Right now, let's see who all joined us over here on Instagram. On Instagram, we had Bernard66. He came through for a moment. Breaking Community joined for a moment, and Malcolm Bowles came through. Like, glad we seen you here. That came through for the moment, and also we had a few people come in through YouTube. I'm sorry, Facebook. No, this is YouTube Live. This is YouTube. Tori Berries, hi, how you doing? Kenny Incarnation, I think that's it. Kenny Incarnation, hi, how you doing? Are you okay? Yes, I'm great. I'm great. D-Backs fan too. What brand of vacuum do you have? I don't know where you get that from. Okay. What have you? I don't know what you're talking about vacuum. But other than that, don't like nobody in Facebook. Yeah, okay, we have Burger Yali Christopher was watching for a moment. I don't know if you're still there, Burger. But just to let everybody know, if you don't do your research, you're only going by what you're told. It's up to you to do your research to find out what you need to know. So again, just share with you again that if I didn't say it, I'll say it this time. I am that Lkhyym in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm the same Lkhyym in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. If this was prophesied for you to see that Lkhyym is really me. Just wanted to share that with you. Excuse me. Just want to let everyone know. Excuse me. Just want to let everyone know that if you'd like to get in contact with me and if you'd like to learn more about the introduction to sovereign class of knowledge, you're welcome to text me your name, number, and email. Just let me know you'd like to know more information about the sovereign class of knowledge. And this will help you free yourself from the satanic system. And this is private. Just let it be known it's private. So, if you'd like no more information, welcome to text me at text and or call me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. Or you can email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. Usually I go through the formalities of sharing everybody with my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Man, all of a sudden, sneeze is coming out. But all that would be in my post. You go into my post, check out the information, name, number, email, Facebook, YouTube, all that would be in there. You're welcome to check it out. And go from there. They'll be either in the post or they'll be posted in the links. So other than that, instead of taking the time of sharing all that, it's in the post that I can check out the info. Other than that, pause for a minute. This winter, this snow came out of nowhere today. I say out of nowhere, dropped my wife off at work, came back home, laid down, wake up, snow was everywhere. So other than that, we're going to pause Zoom. We'll be right back, as we say bye to everybody else, and we'll be right back. Zoom, be right back. Love you, appreciate love you in always. Peace. Recording stopped. All right, and over here on Instagram, or should I say Facebook? Facebook Live, we'll be right back with part 2, which is actually part 4 of the spiritual seed of Abraham. Spiritual seed of Abraham. We'll be right back, or Abraham, that is. See, thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Be right back. See you in a few moments, and always. Peace. And over here on Instagram, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. I'll be right back in a few moments. I thank you. I appreciate, love you, and always. Peace. And over here on YouTube Live, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you. See you soon and always. Peace.